everyone? It's Chris, the Batman statue collector, and I am joined by Dan from Wayne Manor North. How's it going, Dan?
Hey, buddy. How's it going? It's going great.
Doing great. Hanging out today. We're going to talk today about some XM Samurai statues today, and we're actually going to be doing our top 10 favorites statues right now that are already released. There are a number that are available right now for pre-order. We're not going to be counting those today, although I'm sure we're very excited to be getting some of those in. But today we're just going to be counting down our favorites. We're just going to be talking statues. How's that sound?
Yeah, no, it sounds great. We've been threatening for a while to do this. It's going to be interesting to see how the two lists compare because as we've often talked about on the show, we tend to have very, very similar sensibilities about these things. So this will be a fun one for sure.
We do indeed. I know there's certain things that you like about this line, certain things I like about this line. And again, I have to give you and Jeff Delaney a big credit
or blame.
Or blame. That's right. Exactly. My wallet definitely, still, it's, like still screaming to this day about the amount of money I've spent on those, but it's been absolutely worth it. It's been absolutely worth it. You and Jeff both sold me on the idea that they're next level. They're just a difference. Like when you see them in person. And I was always that guy that saw them in photos. I'm like, they're neat, but they're not really my thing.
Yeah.
But then I got Deathstroke in. I'm like, okay, well now I got to get them all because they're just that damn good. Which is incredible. So again, we're going to count down our top 10 favorites. We also have one honorable mention that we're going to be talking about today. And we're basically going to say like what we like about the statue and why we have it kind of ranked where we do.
Okay.
And so again, they are statues that are currently released. I think all the way up to Penguin. I think Penguin is the newest release to date.
He is.
So let's start with your number 10. What's your number 10?
Okay, number 10. First up on the list, and you can actually see her over my right shoulder here.
Yes, I can. There she is. Oh, there we go.
Is Catwoman. And I have to tell you, just right out of the gate, this is a really hard list because I don't feel like any of these guys should be number 10. But as we talk about the statues, we talk about the intricacy of the statues, we talk about different design elements, etc. She for me is number 10. She's a little bit less intricate, a little bit less conceptually compelling, perhaps, as some of the other ones. So, anyways, that's where she fell on my list. And again, it's all relative to the other statues in the line.
Well, I think that you bring up great points about her. I think that's some of the criticisms about her over the years have been a little less samurai than some of the others. Which again, she was an early on piece. And talking to you, I didn't really understand the whole steampunk, more modern elements of the line.
Once you look at it that way.
Yeah, and some it is weird because some pieces do have it.
Yep.
And some pieces don't necessarily have any of it. So it's it's interesting how they came up with them.
Yeah.
But great number 10, and my number 10 is, drum roll please. Catwoman.
Wow.
Mine is also Catwoman, which I'm going to piggyback exactly what you just said. Is the fact that I think she is absolutely beautiful. I love the portraits. My favorite is the kind of the full mask with the biting the lip.
Yep.
That's my favorite. I think your favorite is the more of her with her hair in a bun. I think, which is also a fantastic look.
Yeah, both beautiful.
Very, very beautiful. But I went with Catwoman again for the same reasons, as I felt like she just wasn't samurai enough. I really like the samurai elements, having owned so many of the others now. She just doesn't have that. Her bike looks cool. The bike is great, but she looks more like a modern Catwoman. Like it's like more of like any Catwoman that could be in your collection. And so again, that's why I have her at number 10. Beautiful statue, but again, this was very hard to go and order these because they're all also amazing. So
exactly.
Crazy. All right, let's go to your number 9.
And it already starts to hurt. In terms of how do you stack rank these guys, and it really took some looking around in the collection. But my number 9 is Nightwing.
Nightwing, wow, nice.
And it's funny, Nightwing, just an awesome statue, but he may suffer from almost a little overboard on the intricacy, right? So his costume is so intricate and so complex that it's almost a little bit much. And this is me just really reaching to try and find something with these statues that cause them to be lower on a list. His base, he's actually right next to Catwoman, just out of the shot here, but his base is fantastic, as all of the samurai bases are. His pose is great. He comes with a number of switch outs, the bow, he's got the batons, he's got throwing knives, he's got his backpack that has, the quiver of the arrows. And I mean, just awesome. But if I had to find a reason to put him on that point in the list, I'd say that's the only thing I can come up with. So he's my number 9.
Yeah, it's just like you said, like a little too armored, a little bit too much.
Yeah. Yep.
And I feel like that makes it kind of lose a little bit of Nightwing there. It's like he's
exactly
a little bit, but I agree. I think he's still a really great statue. I think it's one of the best bases.
For sure. Yeah,
for sure. Which I really like. But very, very good pick at number 9. So my number 9, it might shock you a little bit, but my number 9 is Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn. And this is a piece that I love, and I've been, I tend to like move the portraits around a lot. Like I like to like really but I feel like the samurai feel is what I like the most. Yeah. So I've recently put that head on. I've put that geisha head on.
Okay.
And I think it's become one of my favorites, and I feel like that ups the statue for me. Whereas if I have the other portraits on, I like, but I think to me it's just the bike. It's the pink. It's not what I wanted, I guess, necessarily from that statue. I wanted maybe something a little different for me, but it's still a beautiful statue. But I feel like if it wasn't on the pink bike, I think it might feel a little bit differently.
Yeah, I've had an idea, that Pepto-Bismol pink. It's funny, I thought about that as I was ranking them. And I know that they went with that because that is an original Vespa color.
Right.
Those Vespa colors were kind of like that. Even the blue is like that. The green, they have that like seafoam green color. So it is an original color. So I can appreciate why they did that. I almost would have liked them to see, because she's so dressed in reds and pinks and all that, as she would be traditionally, it would have been great if they had gone with a light blue Vespa and weathered the shit out of it. Like it was just kind of old and had almost rusty, and like she had found the bike there, and whatever it is there. And so I'm with you though. I can see that being a good reason to put her lower on the list.
Custom blue repaint, Dan? Maybe I should do it.
Yeah.
I do think the blue would look really good.
It's funny, she comes right off the bike. It wouldn't be so completely outlandish to think that that's a possibility. Huh. Oh, that's something to think about there.
I don't know. Maybe something to think about. Okay. So anyway, that's my number 9, Harley Quinn. What's your number 8?
Okay, number 8. And the choices just keep getting more and more difficult.
Yes, they do.
Probably one of my definitely top 3 bases in my collection of any statue. But number 8 is Deathstroke.
Nice.
Phenomenal piece. Like I said, the base perhaps outshines even the statue. Even people that, have, a less than enthusiastic view of the statue collection, i.e. like my daughter, and, she could leave her take it, and loves the base. Like she's pointed out, wow, that's amazing, and then the figure itself, yeah, he looks cool, but I think he's probably just a little bit shown up by his own base.
Yeah, I think agree 100%. I think, again, I've got him right up here. And the base is just incredible. It's one of the coolest bases for sure I have in my collection.
Yep.
Without a doubt. Yeah. So my number 8 is this one right here. It's the Batman Shugo.
Okay.
I love this piece. I think it's phenomenal. I do feel like it is, secondary or third to, some of the other Batman pieces that they've come out with. But it's that base. It's just that base is so cool. Right now I have it kind of as you enter the room right now. I don't know exactly where I'm going to put it yet in terms of how I'm rearranging my collection, but I'm still really glad I got it. It was kind of one of those things where I wasn't sure if I should, I don't really need 2 Batman. But I don't know. I just love it. And I love the way it lights up. I know you've said before, you wish they had just sold the signal,
Could you ever see yourself, does it make sense at any point to display it without the Batman on it? Could you display just the base?
Oh yeah. I've considered it.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
There's
that's definitely an option. I mean, yeah, I mean, Batman. I still love the Batman the way he looks. I specifically like the grapple, where he's got the sword. That's the way I have him. Is like like he's pulling out.
He's a great looking statue, no question about it.
So anyway, great piece. That's my number 8. How about your number 7?
Oh boy. Okay, so number 7, and I don't know why I put a red mark somehow when I was editing this picture. So disregard the red mark if you can see it in there. But Joker is my number 7.
Wow, I'm surprised by 7.
For no other reason other than his base is probably too big for him. It's awesome and it's way impressive, but it's kind of like I didn't need the base to be that big, And I think they could have accomplished the same artistic result that they were shooting for with that Orochi, creature, without giving us a base that probably weighs, no exaggeration, has to weigh 50 pounds.
Easy.
Or close to it. They could have accomplished it, I think, with less base. So just for the fact that he's a space hog, I made him number 7.
Okay, great pick. So my number 7 is one that I have ordered, but it's not here yet. It's Penguin. I am super pumped and excited to get this one in. Of course, I did have it. I had the prototype here in the Batcave. I know this is one that you don't love. If you had more space, I think you might be swayed. But I know it's not your favorite look. But I had to get it. Like we were talking before the show here. It's like I have all these other villains. I feel like I have to have the line. I am somebody that likes to complete the line if possible. And I just love these things. I love the way they look in hand. And so I know he's a little bit of a space hog, and he's pricey. I think he's around $1,700.
$14.
Yeah, $1,700 shipped somewhere in there. So he's not cheap, but that's where he landed. I feel a little bit bad putting him on the list because I don't have him in hand, but at the same time, I'm excited to get him.
It's interesting that he's so low on your list.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised too.
Yeah.
And again, I'm surprised by your Joker. I figured,
right.
Yeah,
got to make room for the ones that are higher.
That's right. Well, let's move on to 6 then. What's your number 6?
Number 6, and this guy could have even gone higher. And this is the one that, when you see him in person, you're going to want him, Chris. Number 6 is Robin. I hadn't even thought about him until I saw him at New York Comic Con 2019. He and Harley were the ones that were on display. He just jumps off. They had him on a pedestal. He literally just jumps off the pedestal. I mean, his base is very, very different. I know it wasn't in my photo, but he's on this great temple bell, and it looks like aged copper, beautiful patina on it. Has the wood broken beams in front of it. It has a little bit of ivy with flowers on it to tie it to ivy.
Love that.
And his costume is like automotive paint quality. It just pops. And I think it's a great version of him. He's got a hood, so he's a little bit Damian-ish, which, okay, Damian's not my favorite Robin, but it just looks, the hood and his cape, it just looks really awesome. And I mean, I've said it very openly on the channel for years. I'm not a giant Robin fan, but I like this version. I like this version a lot, and the statue is absolutely freaking amazing. So
I do think it's one of the best Robin stat. Again, I'm not a Robin fan. I've been very vocal too. I don't care for the character. I don't care for the colors. The colors are stupid to me. They don't make sense if you're fighting crime, that you're in these bright, yellow and red colors. But again, comics are not real. I know it's not the real world. It's it's just for fun. But I do think it's one of the best. And I think really what you said about the automotive looking paint is really what sets it apart. Is it just everybody says how much it pops. So
it does.
I think that's a great pick at number 6. My pick at number 6 is one that I don't have. I know that you've not really wanted this piece. I would love to have it if I had the space, and that's Shogun. And I know a lot of people say this is the best one in the collection and it's the best one out there. I do think it's a very amazing art piece. I don't know if I need a horse in my collection. I think that's part of the issue. It's like I feel like I could still capture the samurai without the horse. But I do, if I had the opportunity and it came at a great price, I think I would maybe try to pick it up. I also really like the Joker base. I think that's a neat
Joker base is awesome.
It's a neat touch what they did with the colors. So it might end up in the Batcave someday. And again, if you're watching this and want to sell me one, guys, reach out to me. But it is a cool piece. And again, but it is a space hog, that's for sure.
That's one that I've never seen in person. So I don't.
So maybe that would change your mind if you saw it.
I mean, if it's a quarter scale horse, it has to be pretty good size, right?
It's pretty good size. Yeah, no doubt. That's my number 6. Let's move to the top 5. Let's do it.
Okay.
Your number 5.
And it really starts to get interesting here. Yeah. I've got 2 shockers on my list, and I think this is going to be one of them for people. At number 5, I have Poison Ivy.
Wow.
Yeah, totally shocked.
Yeah, I am shocked.
And it's funny. I really, as I was creating the list, I did not consider scarcity as one of the considerations for where I rank them, right? It was just the statue itself. And she is beautiful, but there are 4 pieces that I probably overall like more. And I know, look, if you're in the top 5 in this list, it's an amazing statue. She's gorgeous. If I think about what could they have done differently with the piece, what would have made her even that much more appealing? I would have liked a long-haired version.
Yeah.
Of Poison Ivy. So the portrait, a long-haired portrait. And I would have liked, and I heard Eric mention this, I don't know, I don't remember even when we were talking, what conversation, but I would have liked to see her in a pale green skin.
That would have been interesting too.
Yep. And so, I mean, she's gorgeous. Those are the only things I could think of. If somebody pressed me to say, oh, what would you do differently? Look, it's a gorgeous statue. It's another one that if anybody walks into my office here, because like I've told people, my new room is in the middle of my house, and people see these things when they come in, and they love it. They think, oh, that's beautiful, and da da da. So it's beautiful, but there are 4 others that I like more.
I figured she'd be a little higher in your list, so I am surprised. That's really shocking to hear. But I agree with some of those changes. I also think like maybe her parasol is paper, so it could have been maybe something a little different. But I don't know. Still a great pick, and still in your top 5, so that's still great.
Yep.
My number 5 is this one right here. It actually started out being a lot higher on my list, but it is Deathstroke.
Okay.
And a lot of the same reasons, you said about the base and, getting lost a little bit. I do feel like this is definitely one of the top ones in the series. I feel like it could stand out. It doesn't have to necessarily be in the samurai line. It could be just a Deathstroke.
That's true.
So it's just a, kind of a universal piece to me. But it really, again, for me, it started up higher on my list because I think it was my first one. It was the one that,
right.
You and Jeff sold me on. That particular, like, start with that one to see if you can get that one or Batman. And Deathstroke obviously was a lot easier to get that one. And so I just loved it. I think it's fantastic. I love the copper, that orangey look without it being overly orange. I think that's really neat. And again, it screams samurai to me. It screams that era to me with the swords. So that's why
I agree with all your points. The color that they picked for the orange on his armor is one of the most appealing parts of that statue.
100%.
Yeah, it's just such a great color, and the choices they made in terms of gear and how did they make it samurai, with the sash is really cool. I'm kind of just looking at him here. He's in my line of sight. The flag on the back of the base, it's just so cool. And the other great part about that particular statue, he's not a space hog.
Right. Very narrow.
He takes up a fairly small footprint. So
he does. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So that's my number 5. Let's do number 4 for you.
Okay. Number 4. Harley Quinn.
There she is. Okay. All right.
There she is. A little higher on my list than yours.
A little bit.
Harley Quinn. I just, Harley statues are funny to me, for me. So a lot of times I feel like she's too cartoony. She's handled a little too cute.
Maybe flirty.
Yeah, a little bit too much that direction. I think it's one of, for those reasons, the opposite of those reasons is one why I got back into the Arkham City Harley, because I think she's so much better on so many fronts. This piece, I love the pose. I remember you saying how, your wife mentioned when she saw that piece, like, oh, of course she's the one sitting down, the girl sitting down. I just think that the pose is so Harley, it's sultry, it's confident, it's, she's got a weapon across her back like a guy, where she's just like, I'm here's my mallet. I'm ready to smack you. The portraits, the look on her face is like dangerous, a little bit crazy, a little bit hot, sexy.
Yep.
It just, I don't know. To me, it couldn't scream more Harley Quinn. All of that said, it's not higher because of the Pepto-Bismol bike. I think it could have perhaps been perfect. But the base is fantastic. She's on this little, pavered walkway thing with the lantern, and it lights up. And so no, I love the piece. I love the art choices that they made for it for the most part. And so
if we ever get Sang or Ben on the show, I'd like to ask them if they ever considered a different color for that bike. I'm curious if they had, like, they had a couple of, they were trying to debate between.
Yeah.
Because again, that's been the biggest nitpick in the community, really, with that.
It has. And do you go with, Vespas? Not that you see a ton of them, but when you do see them, they're in those colors. So it's kind of, it's tough.
It'll be interesting to see too. Is that I know Sang has said that they might potentially revisit a few characters.
Yep.
I bet you that would be one that they revisit.
I could see
Catwoman. I think they would do those two.
Yep.
Just because the bikes have been the biggest nitpicks from certain collectors,
Exactly. Yep.
So. All right, so my number 4 is one that we've already seen from you, and that is the Joker Orochi, and specifically because of this portrait. I really like the long hair look. I really like the maniacal look, but it wasn't until I put this, and I know you don't have this portrait.
I don't. That's the version B, yeah.
But it's like I've left this on since you've left. I've left this portrait on, and I love it. I just, for me, it screams samurai more to me with the mask, the kind of this demon looking mask. He's got the rope tied behind him. You still see the green hair behind him.
Yep.
So I don't know. I just, something about this particular portrait that upped the level for me.
Yeah.
Whereas if I had just had the longer hair, it probably would have been down where you had it.
Yep.
For me. But I don't know. I just love him. Again, the base is way too big. it's massive.
It's just too big. Yeah.
And I don't know if it's at the end of the day what I would have wanted. I did like some of those earlier concepts, maybe a little bit better. We saw, but I don't know. I was real surprised when I did this list because again, I went back and forth. I'm sure you did. It's like, where do I rank this? But yeah, number 4 for me, Joker. Pretty crazy. Let's move on to our top 3. Here we go. Number 3.
Top 3, where it gets really, really hard.
Really hard.
Number 3 for me, Bane.
Nice.
Surprisingly. And when I say surprisingly, it's because as I, moved through the process of getting into this line, Bane was not the top of the list for me, in terms of a character. And even when I first saw the statue, I don't think it kind of jumped off the page at me until I took a closer look. He is such an imposing piece, guys. I encourage you, don't write him off until you see him in person. He's absolutely freaking amazing. There are a few of these, like we talked about, that if that was the version of Bane you had in your collection, you'd be just fine. Yes, he's samurai, but particularly with the picture that I just showed with kind of the masked portrait.
Yep.
You absolutely could have him as the Bane in your collection. He's awesome. His pose is awesome. He comes with 2 phenomenal weapons. He's got the big club, which is how I have him displayed right now. He's got this giant axe. He's just awesome. And the base is phenomenal. Yeah, he's great.
He is a great piece.
Yep.
Without a doubt, he's one that you have to kind of display up higher if you can. I think
that's
helps.
That's a knit, and that's solid knit. That's very true. I've got him. The shelf he's on is about 55 inches tall.
Yeah.
So he's up pretty good. But
you can see I've got mine up high as well. Which I think helps.
Yep.
Which brings me to my number 3, and it's
Bane.
It's Bane. So there we go. We agreed on another one. And he's another one that really, before I was convinced by you and Jeff, I had him in my cart a number of times. Just, I had, saw one on Todd's site and I'm like, okay, I really like this one. And I know he was kind of this weird low profile and the base is kind of a weird angle and the tubes are kind of cheap looking. I wish that they had done something maybe a little bit different with that. But
Yep.
at the end of the day, he's freaking awesome. I mean, he just is an awesome statue. And he was hard to find. He was not easy to come across. So like you said, if you can come across one, snag it, because it's going to be very difficult to find. And I have mine with the axe, but again, the club looks great. I don't love the other portrait. I don't love the samurai portrait as much. I like the one we have, more traditional, black mask. But because I feel like the other one makes him look kind of cartoony a little bit to me.
Agree.
So, but yeah, just an awesome statue. Really cool. Really cool. All right, top two. Here we go. Number two.
Okay, the other shock I was referring to. My number two is Batgirl.
Wow, there we go. Yep. I know you love her.
And she is another one that, Chris, I think if you saw in person, you'd change your mind.
Probably because I wasn't interested in that one. I wasn't interested.
I mean, her pose, she is literally leaping off the base in a way that she just looks so different. You talk a lot recently on the show and on Rogues about you're looking for difference.
Yep.
She's different. I mean, she is out lunging off the base. Beautiful, sculpt of the female anatomy, and she's beautiful body on her. And the way that they did the suit just complements her figure really well. She comes with a cape and a sash. She comes with 4 portraits. So when they first started the line, they were shipping a lot of portraits.
Yeah.
And so she's got portraits. She's got different weapons. I've got a whole drawer and a side table here that's just her stuff. Just a phenomenal piece. And the base is really, really cool. So it's different than the others. It almost just looks like a different part of the same temple that they're all perhaps, in and around fighting. But no, she's absolutely phenomenal. Love that statue. She's one of the favorite statues in my collection, period. So
I do like her a lot. I always feel like if I did get her, though, I'd have to get the Robin. I'd have to get Nightwing. But that might make me justify getting Red Hood, which I still have not ordered yet. I know.
That's not a big ES, my friend.
I know. I need to jump. I just need to do it. And then I could try to maybe find the other ones later, maybe. But I don't know. But Batgirl, I know you love that one. And it's just one that I feel like I do need to see it in person probably to really appreciate it. So never say never. You never know.
Never say never.
Great. Number two. My number two is Poison Ivy.
There you go.
I just feel like she is just absolutely stunning. I don't know what else there is to say about her. I mean, she just really is a stunning piece. And she was, again, very difficult. She's very, very expensive. We don't even know if they were all, maybe they weren't all made. Maybe we're not sure if, the whole ES came out because she was so hard to locate, but just.
I'd be shocked they were all made. You just don't see a lot of them.
You don't.
Because what the ES that's stamped on it is $9.99, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and you just don't see them.
Never.
You don't see them in people's room tours. You don't see them.
No.
So I don't know who they sold them to, but and people are selling them for crazy money.
Yeah.
You'd think they'd be coming out of the woodwork to sell them. That's just the way these
things
happen.
She easily goes for $2,000, $2,200, $2,400. I mean, easy.
Yeah, I think she's in the high twos.
Yeah, high twos.
You're getting one for $2,200. I think you're $2,700 and up these days, and I think a lot of them are broken. I'd be willing to bet that statue is brutal put together. I talked about it in mine where I dropped her hand and it just can't believe, by the way, I found those fingers and each finger was a clean break. It was the strangest thing.
It's crazy.
I got it all back together. She's still displayed with it. You'd never know unless you get within about 12 inches to look at it because it's so small. Her fingers are dainty. And, but, when you put that, the plant monsters together and these pieces, you've got cold cast porcelain pieces that are interwoven, and not to mention with her leg. I mean, it's just, I bet anything there's a bunch of them that are broken.
Well, I mean, when we live unboxed her, I mean, good Lord, like it's just you're trying to, fit her all right. And it's very delicate, very intricate.
I thought of you when I was putting mine together. I'm like, there's no freaking way to do this live.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's just absolutely crazy. But beautiful statue. Well, I think I know what both of our number ones are.
I think we know what both of our number ones are.
I think so. Yeah. I'll let you go first.
All right. So here he is, of course, the iconic Batman, the first piece in this collection that they released. it's funny. People ask me, "Oh, what's your favorite Batman in your collection?" And I don't have multiples of a lot of characters, but I've got multiples of Batman. And what's the thing that we always talk about in the community, like which one do you take in a fire?
Yeah,
I'd love to say my White Knight, but I don't know if I can lift him out effectively and get him out of the house. So,
yeah.
But that one is right up there. He's in my top 3. The Batman Hush from Prime 1 is certainly, that Batcave is just iconic, beautiful piece. But that samurai piece, it could be your only Batman piece, and it wouldn't be samurai necessarily.
Right. You can certainly make it very comic book.
You could
with the portrait and the swap outs. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can almost de-samurai him.
Yeah. Sure.
He's very to me, kind of elicits that Batman Begins vibe in terms of the type of armor, the build. What build of Batman? He's a more streamlined. He's not a big bulky Batman. His cape is just big enough. His cape's swinging in action. The pose going up on a peak of a temple. I mean, just all the way around. You can't lose. I just love that piece. I love it.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, again, that's my number 1 right here as well. It's just an absolutely stunning statue. And this is, very similar to how I have mine displayed. I have them with the swords.
Yep.
And again, it's just one of those pieces where I would see it and I'm like, oh, it's cool. But until you get it in hand, until you actually see it, it's very iconic. And, as you were talking about, if there was a fire, I'm thinking to myself, okay, which ones would that change for me? Because I've always said that Batman bust, but I think I would probably pick this one over that Batman bust for sure, because it's just so awesome looking. It's just so stoic. It's so strong. I love the fact that the cape is sculpted and it has those great, pleats. They're like it's pulling in the wind. Like it's just really well done. And I know that obviously they've had 2 other attempts to try to improve on him, and I don't think that they did. I just think that this is the best one in the line.
Yep.
And if you could only get one, and again, he's very difficult to find too. I mean, he's north of 2,000 or whatever he is now. Yeah. I don't know what he goes for. I think that's what I paid. I think I paid around $2,000 for him. So I don't know. He's just so iconic. It's just fantastic.
Yep. I love it. And I don't get sick of it. I've got them up in, one corner of my room here, and you just don't get sick of it. I don't get sick of looking at them at all, or tired, I should say, not sick of it, but yeah.
That's awesome. And I completely forgot. We went right into number 1. I forgot to do our honorable mention. So we have to do that. We completely forgot about them. So I will let you go first on the honorable mention. I'm sorry, guys. I did forget.
So of the pieces that I don't have in my collection, I don't have Shugo, I don't have Shogun, and I don't have Penguin. Those are the 3 that are available that I don't have. So I would have to say my honorable mention would have to be Penguin. If I had the right space and the right vibe, I guess, in my collection, I've talked to you, we've talked privately about this, and it's something vibe-wise that it doesn't feel like it fits my collection. I don't know. It's just a weird thing. And that could change. I'll probably, come by your place and see it in person, or see it in person at New York Comic-Con. I don't know. But so that could change. For right now, if you've got a twinge of I'm not sure about it, pulling the trigger on probably something close to $2,000 with that piece.
Yeah.
I know. The portrait's awesome. The pose is just perfect for the character. The chair is awesome. The whole thing is phenomenal. I absolutely love the piece. It's more, does it fit with my room?
Right.
And I just don't know. It's a question mark. So I feel like that's one that I have to see in person, and it could go either way. I could say, yep, that confirms what I thought, or nope, wow, I got to have it. So that's my honorable mention.
That's great. And mine's a similar effect. And my honorable mention is Robin.
Ah, there you go. Yeah.
I really do like the statue a lot. I think it looks great. And again, I feel like it's that color pop, which is just incredible. I love the base on it. But again, I'm just not a Robin guy. So it's hard for me to pull the trigger on a Robin piece. I have done that a couple of times. I had the premium format from Sideshow for a short time. And I also had the Arkham Robin.
Yep.
But as you can see, I don't have them anymore. And so I'm typically, I do that. I buy the good guys for a while. I'm like, I just don't really.
Yep.
I still have the Prime 1 Huntress, which is still great. But again, it's one that I could go if it needs to. So I do like that Robin. I don't know if the Robin will end up in the cave or not, but I do still really appreciate it, especially the colors. And like you said, the automotive paint, just really awesome. Really awesome.
For sure. Yeah.
So anyway, that is our top 10 favorite lists. And so what we're going to do is we are going to revisit this list at another time when we get some more pieces in. Obviously, Scarecrow, Red Hood, they've teased a Batwoman. They've said they're going to do Ra's al Ghul. There's going to be other characters that they are going to do. And so we would like to revisit this list and see if it changes. Maybe a year from now we come back to it and see, hey, is our number 1 still number 1? Is our number 10 still number 10? We'll see what we do. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, that sounds great. There's some good stuff coming. So
that's awesome. Well, thanks again, everybody, for watching. We hope you enjoyed this top 10 countdown. This was so much fun to do with Dan. And again, we obviously had some things that paired up and some surprises as well, for sure. But if you did enjoy this content, please make sure you subscribe if you haven't done so. Please hit the like button. That does help us out tremendously. And just thanks for spending time out of your day being with us. Really appreciate it. And we'll see you soon in the Batcave. Bye, everybody.
See you guys.